Alright, so this is a pretty quick update from Palantir, but nonetheless, if you're an investor in this company, I still think this update is something important to take note of. Palantir partners with Ukrainian tennis star Elina Svitolina. So yeah, being a tennis player myself, I figured I might as well cover this update and what it means for Palantir, just because it sounded pretty interesting from the title alone. So, Palantir has announced its support of the Ukrainian professional tennis player and humanitarian Elina Svitolina. Why, you ask? Well, as I'm sure some of you guys have already guessed, this partnership with Elina deepens Palantir's commitment to supporting Ukraine and its ongoing efforts to resettle refugees, document war crimes, and facilitate additional reconstruction projects. And look, regardless of your stance on the war, and whether or not the US is spending too much on it, which, let's not kid ourselves here, the US is indeed spending the most on the Ukrainian war by a huge margin, I think it's important to look at this deal as simply an act of goodwill and support to people in need, because at the end of the day, it's Palantir's money, and they can 100% choose how they want to spend it. But yeah, in other words, this is a sponsorship. And with this sponsorship with Elina, who is currently Ukraine's highest ranked player in the Women's Tennis Association in history, this is actually the very first sponsorship of its kind for Palantir. As to be honest, Palantir doesn't really sponsor any specific people, since they mainly do dealings with businesses and government entities. So needless to say, this deal is actually pretty unique and kind of makes me wonder if Palantir will seek out more sponsorships like this in the future. But I digress. Overall, this deal was born out of Palantir's mission to defend and support Ukraine in the war efforts, where this sponsorship will also support the Elina Svitolina Foundation, launched in 2019. You see, this foundation initially served and encouraged the youth in Ukraine through scholarships, programs, and special events. However, since the war started, the foundation has redirected its focus to provide necessary support to young Ukrainian tennis players and their families by relocating them to European tennis academies and helping them safely chase their tennis dreams. Elina even said, and I quote, "Palantir has been a friend to Ukraine since the Russian aggression began. I am thankful for the work they are doing in helping my government continue its fight to peacefully exit within our own borders. Palantir is helping that cause, and my decision to partner with them helps advance our humanitarian missions." So, also as the ambassador for United 24, Elina is currently focused on the Rebuild Ukraine program. She has even taken part in numerous restoration projects, including the reconstruction of a residential building, which was home to more than 100 Ukrainian families. Essentially, her humanitarian efforts focus on helping Ukraine rebuild, a goal being supported by Palantir's technology on the ground throughout the entire country. This partnership with Elina deepens Palantir's relationship with Ukraine, working head-to-head with their counterparts, focusing on the reconstruction in war-torn areas. And moreover, Palantir's CEO Alex Karp was actually the very first Western CEO to visit Ukraine in June 2022, following the start of the war. Since that time though, Palantir's efforts in Ukraine have been focused on resettling refugees, providing technology to Ukrainians on the battlefield, and reestablishing schools in the devastated areas. So really interesting and unique update from Palantir. And if you enjoyed this video and want to stay completely up to date with everything Palantir is doing, then I think you'll really enjoy this video right here, where I go over the most recent industry that Palantir is completely revolutionizing. Thanks again, and I'll catch you next time.